Hi guys, good evening. This is Arbil from Matic. So we have a customer here that has an issue with the computer. Hindi siya nagbo-boot. So we'll have to find out what is causing the issue. Prior to the customer giving us the unit, he mentioned that the issue started after he bumped the table. Then the computer just completely shut off. So we're trying to isolate that. But from first investigations, we can see that the unit is really dirty. So it might be possible that it's just grounded by dust. But we can't say that yet. But as you can see here, once we plug the power cable, we'll also connect the display cable for the monitor just in case it boots up, because I already tried, it didn't. Then once we turn it on, and as you can see, the motherboard lights up along with the power supply cable connection towards the PCIe of the graphics card. So that may indicate that there's a power issue or it's receiving power. So this may depend case to case depending on your motherboard and your devices. So for now, we'll start to isolate the issue. Let's try to power on the unit. No power. So we'll start the issues first by now by trying to disassembling and trying to clean up the rest of the unit. As you can see, I think it's been neglected for some time. So we'll try to clean it first, then try to begin the troubleshooting steps from there. So right now what I did was to disconnect the PCIe GPU in order to see if the system will post without a graphics card, because that's a good indicator that the motherboard is still functioning. Might be possible that there is a different issue, but we'll see. So we'll try to plug in the power right now. Right, power is plugged in. Then we'll turn on the power supply. And again, the same issue as before. So I think the LED lights for that indicates that there's no PCIe graphics card adapt connected. So we'll try to check by trying to turn it on manually. We're trying to ground the pins here, but there seems to be no response. So I tried with a different screwdriver, if it's the screwdriver that's causing the issue. Again, no response from the system. It won't turn on. So this might seem like a power supply issue, but we'll try to check from now. So be right back. Alright, so what I did now is to try to connect the motherboard towards a known good power supply. So I connected the motherboard 24 pin and the CPU EPS cable to try to attempt to boot the device. So we'll try right now. I'm gonna plug in this. So take me 1 second. Okay. I'll switch on the power supply. Same thing issue with the motherboard. The LEDs went up. So we'll try to ground the connectors to see if it will power on. Again, no power. So I think it might be an issue with the motherboard or something. Does not light up at all. So yeah, we may have to disassemble this thing fully to see what the issue could be. So right now what I've did was to remove the CPU cooler, then try to repaste it and try to reset the processor as well. Processor looks good, so we're trying to boot it again. The RAM I've already cleaned with an eraser. Most of the board is now already clean, so we're gonna try it again to attempt to boot the motherboard just to see if the fans will spin. So again, we're gonna start by plugging the power. The power supply I know works fine, so, and again we saw the same symptoms. We're gonna try again to ground the power pin. Again, no issue, it won't boot. So yeah, so we need to isolate the issue if it's a dead processor or a dead motherboard. So hopefully it's the latter, since the dead motherboard is easy to replace, but the dead processor is quite expensive. So we're not hoping for both right now. So I'll be back again and see if we'll be able to boot the system again. Alright, so we've tried placing the memories RAM and the GPU on another working system, and looks like it's working fine, as you can see, and it is able to finish post. So we were able to go to the BIOS, and let me see, there's the easy mode. As you can see, both sticks of memory are detected, two 8 gig sticks, and since we're able to display via the GPU, that indicates that the GPU is working fine. So what we're going to do next is try to use the processor, the working processor on the motherboard to isolate the issue further. So if the issue is still present, yeah, we may have to check with that. It might be a dead motherboard or a dead processor, so we'll find it out. So stay tuned for a moment while I try to swap components again. So right now we've plugged the components like the processor, the RAM, and the GPU on a working motherboard. Let's try to see if it will boot. It did indicate that it light up, so I think it's running through memory test right now for posting. So we'll find that out. But it's a good sign since the motherboard did boot unlike before with the previous. So yeah, it's detected. So CPU is working. So yeah, we might be dealing with a dead motherboard here from the customer. So yeah, easy mode detects both his RAM sticks. Since there's a display, HDMI connected to the graphics card, and the processor is detected from the customer. So yeah, looks like from our customer's end here, he might have a dead motherboard. So we'll try that again. We're gonna turn off the unit. There's a power button. Turn it off. Unplug. Press the power button for 10 seconds. Now it's drained. Now we're good to go to remove the components again, and we'll try to test the original motherboard of the owner. See what will happen. So right now we've connected the original components back together. If turn on the power supply, as you can see, if there's no power connected, the GPU will light up as red. So we're gonna turn it off again. Now we're gonna connect the PCIe power. Right. Then we're gonna turn on the power supply again. And as you can see, it indicates that it does receive power. Motherboard does receive power, but I've tried turning it on, nothing happens. And I've tried as well the original RAM, replace it with the other DIMM of RAM from a working PC, and we're trying to jump the power connections here. It's not working. So yeah, we have a dead motherboard here in our hands, so might be possible that's the amount of dirt might have killed the motherboard, or something else that caused it to stop functioning. So we'll contact the client right now and report to him what we found, and looks like we may have to end up replacing the motherboard. So since this is isolated issue, again, all I charge for issues like this is only $1, or yung daily conversion niya to peso. So $1 ngayon is 57 pesos. So since we've isolated the issue, technically this is $1 already, but since it's not fixed, technically this is free. So we'll let the owner know, so we'll proceed from there, whether he will buy a new motherboard to fix the issue. And yeah, so if you have issues like this or any other issues, feel free to contact us. We'll try to isolate for you, and if we fix it again, we'll only charge you for $1. So yeah, it might be bad news for the owner as well, so might have to deliver him some bad news later, but at least that way we have isolated the issue. Everything else is working fine. His GPU is good, his processor is good, his RAM is good. So yeah, since it won't post or even attempt to power on, yeah, more likely this is the motherboard issue. So again, this is Arbel from Matic, so we'll see you again for more troubleshooting steps. Okay.